Hello, my name's Willard Bogart, and I'm going to make a presentation today about contact in the desert, uh, and on two levels. One, my own contact experiences in the desert, and to announce that there's going to be a large meeting in May in California that I have on screen here on my iPad, Contact in the Desert. And I thought I'd do this presentation because I wanted to give my own experiences about a contact in the desert, a real contact, and how that's affected my own life and what I've done with those experiences. And I know for a lot of people that would be attending Contact in the Desert, I think there's going to be some, I don't know, 30 or 40 people there. And I think I put this up on my Facebook page announcing the fact that I was going to do this video. And it shows myself sitting in the middle of a desert in Southern California. And I think the realization that our planet now has been inundated by unusual phenomena that we're trying to assess and figure out just what it is all about, where they're from, what they're made of, who's piloting them, why are they here, when did they come here. But anyway, there's an awful lot of research and interest, books, conferences, talks, movies. It's just endless, and I just thought I'd show one of a Navy pilot capturing on his video recording devices in his jet, which is well known around the planet at this point. There I am, and that's the Santa Rosa Mountains in the foreground. And I'm in the middle of the desert with electronic music, electronic synthesizers, and speakers and cameras and everything, trying to be sensitive to what might be going on with unusual phenomena that I have experienced, which is the reason I go out into the desert. So the desert's a wonderful place to experience unusual phenomena. And I just got a couple more. There's the back of me looking at the Santa Rosa Mountains, and anyone can go to the desert if they like. It's a wonderful place. It's quiet and a lot of nature, and mostly it's quiet. You can just hear so many things you wouldn't normally hear. There aren't any people around, and I've sat there and played the sounds and find it very, very interesting. And it's not the only desert. This particular desert is Anza Borrego in Southern California, but I've been to the outback in Australia, Flinders Range, Chaco Canyon, Joshua Tree, and the Carrizo Plains, Mendocino jungles, just a lot of different in nature places. So to start this off, and when people go to, they're going to go to the conference. And one of the guest speakers at the conference is Avi Loeb. And I thought that I'd show his book, which is Extraterrestrial. Dr. Loeb is head of the astrophysics department at Harvard University. He's written a very, very interesting book. And it's a book that gives people the opportunity to stretch their imagination and accept things that they might not readily accept, but they stretch and they give themselves the opportunity to think about what it could be. In this case here, Avi saw a large object coming in from another part of our solar system. It was an interstellar object that he called Oumuamua, and he's even going to the bottom of the ocean floor off of the coast of Papua New Guinea. Supposedly there was a crash of an interstellar object there, raising tens of millions of dollars to go scrape a 1 mile square area to see if he can find it. But anyway, the big thing is that he will be speaking, and he's going to be presenting an awful lot of ideas, his ideas, about stretching your imagination, not debunking it, but giving anomalous phenomena an opportunity to be something that we really don't have a lot of experience in. But now that we're inundated with this phenomena on our planet, there is a lot of attention from many, many different points of view on what it might be. So, excuse me, I just thought I'd like to bring his book to your attention. There's lots of books you can read. I have another book. It's like going to the conference and listening to a speaker. I just wanted just a few books just to give you an idea of what's available, to give you a broader perspective of how to approach the phenomena of the UFO, the extraterrestrial, life from other worlds, strange kinds of incidences that we have no experience of at all. American Cosmic is by Diana Pasulka. She's from North Carolina. And she's been doing a lot of research and comparing religious phenomena with the phenomena that people actually are experiencing and questioning, is it real? Is it some manufactured idea from the mind? Like she brings up Jung's work, and she gives the reader the opportunity to question and make sure that they're concrete in their understanding of what they've seen, and me as well. I mean, it's given me an opportunity to question my own childhood experiences and all the contact experiences I've had, the telepathic relationships, walk-ins in your body, exchanging personalities, many different kinds of things, and actually seeing craft. And you wonder, what Pasulka is doing is giving you the opportunity to make sure that you're on solid footing about, what you may have seen, so that you're not creating a narrative that's false or going along with the bandwagon with everybody else, but you really have your own point of view. And the next book I'd like to, show you in that regard is Trinity by Jacques Vallee. And I've known Jacques ever since way back in 1978. He attended one of my performances in San Francisco. But Jacques has made it a point to be very precise, gathering found pieces of metal, other phenomena on the ground, and especially interviewing people who have had direct contact experience and presenting that as a narrative that you can follow and give yourself the opportunity to see how real it's really been for a lot of people. And I think it's valuable. He co-authored this with another woman. These were two young boys that had actually seen a crash in 1947 in New Mexico, in Trinity. And it's after the crash of the notable crash of 1947, which was in Roswell, Mexico. So I thought to bring that book to your attention. So these are just you have 45 people speaking, so these are just three very new books that have just come out. So I think it's good to keep up with the current narrative on how we are approaching this, and I'll talk about that as well. One more, just so that you can see, there's just a lot of ideas that are out there, and this is called xenolinguistics. Xeno is a prefix from the French, xenos, and xenos means other, foreign, host, stranger, and of course linguistics, it's a comparative word. You can add, it's an adjective, and you can compare and make a compound word using xeno. And the area that I've devoted my life to with electronic music is xenolinguistics, communication. And I'll get into how I developed that aspect, and there's going to be aspects that you may want to pursue and do research in. But in this book you have a lot of symbols and different kinds of symbols, other people that have tried to develop language systems that could be used, sending signals out on radio telescopes. It's a fascinating study, and I think Diana Slattery has done a wonderful job. And she also includes psychoactive substances that give a person different experiences. And there's just a host of books that you can read on that, especially Terence McKenna's work, if you really wanted to get into it, or John Lilly or Timothy Leary or any of those people that have done a lot of work in this area. So that's enough of the education. I just thought I'd give those to you. Okay, now I'd like to now get into a different area, which is some of my own work. I got very concerned over this, and living. If you have had an experience, you live with it. Sometimes you don't know why you experience it, or what you question what you experience. But in my case, I had a direct experience when I was as a child, and it's been with me all my life. And all the experiences that I've had, I put together in a book called Alien Child, the child that was introduced to an alien world, and it's been with me ever since. And you can say what you like. I was a kid with a strong imagination, but this kid was awakened by voices from the sky, and brought outside in the middle of the night, and gave me an education on star civilizations, and I thought that was quite fascinating. Actually fell asleep under the stars in my hometown of Manhattan, Massachusetts, we had a house right on the rocks on the Atlantic Ocean, so there was nobody around. A lot of water and a lot of stars. But anyway, that book, tells about my experiences with the Aboriginals in Australia and their twin deities, the Velnapa, which is the twin deities from Proxima B, and following the song lines in Dreamtime that the Aboriginals have been, believing in for 50,000 years. I thought it would be a good idea to, come face to face and meet these people and try to understand what they were doing, and bring my music and see if I could, gain an experience. And I did, and I wrote about it. And I've written about a lot of these experiences that I've seen in my lifetime. You see ships, or you see white orbs coming out of the sky, or you hear voices, or you meet other entities that want to switch personalities or switch bodies with you. Many fascinating kinds of things. Many of them have occurred in the desert, too, I might add. So anyway, after I finished that book, I realized that I was only discussing some of the experiences that I had. But I thought I'd tackle some of the psychological effects that I've been going through. Why am I thinking about this? Why does the subject always come up? And I finally realized that I really was living all the time with wondering why I thought the way I thought, and curious about other worlds, or playing music to transport my own consciousness into different kinds of subjective states. So then I started, really looking at what you call ideas in relationship to sound. And I started believing in sonic intelligence, entities that are constructed out of sound, and entities constructed out of light, and just opening, as Avi said, opening your mind to what are the possibilities. And one of those possibilities is communication. So, the alien agenda is, by that I mean an agenda. What aspect of the phenomena can interest you? It could be you're interested in capture technology, lenses and cameras that are able to focus on very rapid moving objects, or you may be interested in, like myself, xenolinguistics or telepathy. Let me see, what else could I say? Remote viewing, or being able to be prescient or clairvoyant, or seeing into time. Do you different kinds of ideas that, as Avi would say, come to your mind that you think are just crazy or not realistic at all, but you tackle them. And I tackle the what is it to communicate with another entity, and how would you know that you were being talked to? Or how realistic is it to think that we live on a planet that's occupied by another race that may want to communicate with us, but we just don't have the understanding of how that may be done. So I've spent a lot of time trying to construct ideas around that, which has led to my next subject, and I'm going to bring this up right now. This is a French magazine that just came out January of this year, and it's Orbs magazine, and it's a special edition just on contact experiences. And in the book itself, there's I wrote a paper, and I just thought I'd show it to you. This is it's called the Electronic Music Consortium. And there you can see an antenna, sculpted antenna that I put on the top of Mount Shasta in 1987, actually. And so what I have done is I had developed an idea called the International Extraterrestrial Electronic Music Consortium, which is how many other musicians that existed around the planet that had also taken up this idea that you could use different kinds of frequencies. And so, as it were, last year in Houston, Texas, Rice University developed a new archive. People who do research like Whitley Schreiber and Jacques Vallee and Diana Pasulka. And there was a man from Argentina by the name of Sebastiano Di Filippi, and he was a composer, world-renowned composer, but also an avid researcher in the UFO business. And I immediately was drawn to his story and contacted a good Argentinian friend of mine, Marcelo Miranda, in San Francisco, who had a close friend in Buenos Aires by the name of Zigo, Rayo Benali. And turns out we both had recorded sounds on the top of the mountain. I recorded on Mount Shasta, he recorded on Mount Uritorco. And he always thought that he was receiving messages. And of course, I had kind of thought that as well, that, I was receiving certain kinds of impressions or hunches or intuitive kinds of incursions into unknown worlds to make sounds. And that was my whole reason for doing it. So I contacted Zigo, and we combined our sounds, and I ended up writing the article, the IEEMC, the International Electronic Music Consortium, which is an outreach to other musicians, as well as Xeno art, and the Xeno aspect being art that it tries to express things that are from different dimensions or different worlds. So I think we're transiting and raising our own level of awareness and transiting into trying to mirror some of the impressions in painting, art, sound, dance, whatever those may be, mediumship, remote viewing, whatever they may be. I mean, it hasn't been, really curated in any way, shape, or form. So I think the agenda aspect of how you pick, if you're interested in any of the UFO phenomena, it could be from a religious aspect, or in my case, a communication aspect, could be a technological aspect, historical aspect. I know Richard Dolan is very famous for his historical approach. He knows, interviews everybody, has his finger on everyone who's done anything. And so you get to meet, currently, in 2023, you get to meet people like Gary Nolan from Stanford University, who's dealing on the biological aspects, or people in the UK interested in how the body may react to radiation, because there's a strong physiological effect if you get too close to, say, an orb or any of these phenomena. They emit a strong light, and I mean, there's many cases of that. Travis Walton's is the most famous fire in the sky, where he was just beamed up by a lot of light, and everyone does have a light experience if they see them up close. I have with the orb in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I was shaken up quite a bit. I had a lot of convulsions, and my body was shaking, and I wasn't very stable and had to be held down because I wanted to run around. I had more energy than I knew what to do with, and it took several hours before I had calmed down. So I knew there was a reaction, and of course then you wonder if you have a psychological reaction, and I think the psychology of the UFO, I think Diana Pasulka brings out quite a bit when she interviews so many people and the approaches that they take for their own research. So this is I think a lot of people that go to contact in the desert get to experience other people's point of view, but you're left alone. I mean, you really are. Finally, you're sitting down by yourself, and geez, these things are all around the planet. I mean, that's one of the first things you have to come to grips with, is that they're real, and they're real, they exist, they're photographed, videotaped, but we know very, very little. They're very elusive. There's no direct kind of like understanding of what their mission is or what they want. I believe they're benign, and they present an opportunity for mind expansion, and many people think otherwise. I mean, there's a fear factor that, what if they aren't friendly? So, I mean, these are issues that I think each and every one of us has to come to grips with. So, I think that's, in short, a little message that I wanted to bring to your attention with books and personal experiences. And I think it's a great opportunity that we live in today to come to grips with the phenomena that surrounds our planet, and see how we could experience it, so that we could contribute to more understanding about it. So that's about it. Thanks for listening, and hope to talk to you again. Bye.